Hey guys, it's Josh, the Construction CFO, and today we're going to try something a little bit different. We're going to look at general contractor cash flow forecasting, job costing, and WIP reporting, but we're going to start with job costing because it's the first thing that has to be right. Otherwise, everything else we do is based upon garbage. So this is going to be a shout out to Lady Perez 8734. She requested that we have a little content for general contractors, and even though we focus on subs, we do have general contractors that we help. If you guys like content like this, please like, subscribe, and share. I'm happy to make any videos you want. So like Lady Perez, if you feel like there's something you want to know, just drop a comment. I read them every day, and I'll make content tailored to what you guys need. And with that, let's dive into it. All right, we're going to start off with looking at job costing. So traditionally, the way that you're going to see this in QuickBooks, in non-job costing softwares, you're going to see what was my original contract value, what was my original profit, potentially if you put that in, what was my original gross margin, you can calculate that really easily, but then all you're going to see is what's my spent to date. We're not going to know what it was spent on from the report. We're not going to know how we're trending on different things. We're just going to know I'm about 80% done with the job and I'm about 80% spent on the project, roughly. So maybe that's good, maybe that's bad. Maybe we're lagging information, like change orders. Maybe we're lagging information for invoices, or maybe we're ahead and we're actually prepaid and everything. We're doing really, really well. But that's something you're not going to know without job costing. So what we do is we go into the budget tool, and we set up job costing in this way. And I'm going to come back and read the top, but we're going to go through the first, 150 cost codes, because as a general contractor, there's a lot more intricacies. And these are generic ones that we start with and we pare it back depending on how a general contractor is set up. So the level 1 for all of this is going to be your general conditions. That is not typed in there. But with general conditions, it's going to be your architecture and engineering, your bonding and insurance, your permitting, your utility connections, your admin, your testing and inspection. Basically, however it looks inside of your spec book, we're going to track or capture data that way. So that way we know that we're not missing any contractual related information when it comes time to estimate. And so far, when the further you go down, you get into existing conditions, and you can add on to these. You can get to concrete, and you can see we have all of the different types of concrete. We've pared it down. We get to masonry. We have all the different types of masonry. And when we get this far down, we'll go into the level 3 codes in a second. So let's start back at the top with architectural and engineering. We have design fees, engineering, plans of the specs, and printing. And you'll notice that all of these are 3 series of codes long. And the last one is 100, 200, 300. Because if we have phase A, phase B, whatever, we want to have 110, 220, 210, for example. So the way that we're setting this up, you can use it as a $1 million general contractor, but you can also scale it up to be a $300 million contractor. So you only have to do it one time when you set it up. So if you're in the middle of that range, this is a really good setup for how general contracting could look for you. And this example came specifically from a $50 million GC. So keep that in mind. The next phase we get into is bonding and insurance, things that are required for a specific project that you might not have, that you don't want to get captured into overhead. You want to make sure it gets put in the right place. And you have a budget and you have an actual cost. We want to know that if we budgeted $12,200 and it was $12,354, why? That doesn't seem like a big deal, but if you do that on every single one, we're eventually not going to make any money. Then we go down, we have permitting, whether it's miscellaneous, a building. This contractor did they do marine general contracting. So they have a harbor master permit because that's required for what they do. You could put in whatever you want. And if you do self-performing, maybe this is where you want to put in all of your permits. If you do the electrical, if you do civil, the underground permitting, no matter what you do, you can make a line item for each one. And you'll see the way that we have it set up for that is you have a miscellaneous permit. So if something gets caught off guard, it's kind of a catch-all bucket, and it allows us to see if there's a trend over time, we can add another cost code with the new permitting type. And we're not just hiding it or burying it into all the other permits. Next, we get into utility connections, your electricity, your gas, your data. There could be sewer depending on where you are, plumbing, all of that fun stuff. We then get to project administration. This is by far the biggest cost, I would say, for a general contractor outside of subs, because it's where you track your admin, your bidding, your design build, your project manager, your project engineer, if you have foremen or supers, your travel and expenses. I mean, you can go down this list and see it pretty much covers all of the travel and the overhead that typically would be with that project to build it. But again, we don't want to think of it as overhead for the business because it doesn't operate the business. It's required for the project. And what it allows you to do, again, is just track against your budget. If you thought that there was, $4,000 for safety, did we actually fall within that? Or was it supposed to be more like $15,000? Because it's a big project. It's a $10 million project. Then we go down, we get into testing and inspections. If you want to do soil testing, concrete testing, splicing, welding, all of that, these are good setups. And again, the miscellaneous bucket, in case we ever have something we want to pull out of later. We have project layout, instruction staking for your survey. Again, these fall in line with your specs. So this shouldn't be a shock unless you're a newer GC. But this is literally how you can set up your exact job costing. So I'm going to skip ahead a little bit, and you're welcome to slow the video down, pause it, look at all these. You can always go through your specs and just figure out what you want to have in there. But we're going to get down to concrete because I want to show you how we structure subcontractor levels and how that looks in case you self-perform something. So when we get down to concrete restoration, we have 3 codes. Imagine that miscellaneous restoration is something we weren't aware of. We needed to put it somewhere, but we didn't have anything estimated for it, or it's not resurfacing. It's something else. Maybe it's doweling, or you have to dig down and add on to something. Maybe that's what you're considering concrete restoration. Then we have a concrete restoration subcontractor. So we have the miscellaneous code of 01. We have the 090 code, which is the subcontractor. And you'll notice that trend for all of these cost codes moving down, because we always want to track whether it's something we did or something somebody else did. It helps with a certificate of insurance. It helps with knowing if it's somebody else's responsibility, if it's kind of a locked cost, or if it's something that we are having to actively manage. Because a lot of general contractors, although most nowadays are more like paper GCs, they don't actually perform the work, they just kind of manage everything. Some of y'all are out there actually managing certain areas where your company does the concrete because you want to drive the schedule a certain way, but then you sub out everything else. And that's fine. With this structure, you could actually build it out like we did here under structural concrete, where in-house they do footings, spot footings, foundations, slab on grade, and you can track the labor exactly for you. And if you had somebody else come in and supplement some labor for structural subconcrete, you could do that as well. So that's kind of roughly how you want to look at this. Just take everything out of your spec section. Generally speaking, this is going to create a ton of cost codes. I mean, we go down, we have 800 cost codes, I want to say. It's 665. And this is where we start. So if you don't self-perform fencing, exterior things, we'll just hide those columns. Here, I'll show you up. So that's why this system works for pretty much anybody, is because it's like a Swiss Army knife. We just take whatever you do, what you actually do for work, and we hide everything we don't do, and then it really pares it down pretty quick. So if this is something that you guys need help with, want help with, this is something we do every day, you're welcome to hit me up. This is our template. It has a lot of formulas, as you can tell if we go over here. It has formulas, and it's not going to work the same for every company, but if it's something you want to look at, feel free, hit me up, josh@constructioncfo.net, and I will send you a copy if you want. Thanks, guys. Let me know if you want more content like this. General contractors are a little more simple. It's just rinse and repeat for every sub, for every trade, for every instance.